Hello guys, it's me, Steedoj, and I thought I'd just say how to unlock these, because honestly it's faster than typing and I feel like you guys should hear my voice every now and then. Now obviously, as you just read there, or if you've logged in and you're still trying to figure this out, you do have to unlock these through expert missions. Again, only a few expert missions have them. It's mostly the higher end ones, or the ones with multiple enemies in them. The only exception being Broly and Janemba, but Broly and Janemba, they have their own difficulty spike. Now, I will just come out and say it, most of these you do have to unlock through an ultimate finish. You do have to rely on a random element like the appearance of Final Form Mira or Fuse the Master at the end of Harbinger of Doom to make them show up. And here is a good example. I get Bloody Source, and just Bloody Source, from beating Final Form Mira. And I did repeat this multiple times, and I was slower, so Mira never spawned. It is a time-based thing to make Mira spawn. I was much slower and just didn't get either of the moves, but the only 2 times I fight Mira, I do get Bloody Source. So it might be RNG, one of you can say in the comments now, but my random number generator, or whatever kind of luck was going on here, seemed to only favor when the ultimate finish was triggered. So yeah, second time I beat Mira, this time online with friends, and I actually get Rage Saucer. Now Bloody Source and Rage Saucer, they're not good moves. You can get them, because on raid bosses at least Rage Saucer is pretty good, because you can, teleport to multiple people and do tons of damage to him. But Bloody Source is not worth it. It's the only one that doesn't even have a cooldown either. So you can just easily replace Bloody Source for a different super attack. In my case, I replaced it for Lightning of Absolution. If you guys watched my last video, which was a raid video, then you would know that. But I would always recommend replacing Bloody Source with an actual super attack you do enjoy using, or one that is just better for the occasion. Here I beat Mira in Extreme Malice. Again, when I didn't beat Mira, I didn't get anything. But once you beat Mira, you do unlock Marbling Drop. Marbling Drop is an interesting move. There obviously is a tracking version of the move that even, yes, we can use. And it's pretty powerful. So I'll get into that, later in the video. You unlock Gigantic Ki Blast from beating Broly. Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense because this guy spams Gigantic Ki Blast. I will say the easiest way to beat Broly, whether you're with teammates or not. The other ones are kind of easy. Well, not really Extreme Malice. You have to kind of worry about Marbling Drop, but there's no advice other than get lucky. With Broly and Janemba, you do have to poison them. Well, you don't have to, but I would recommend doing it. Because poisoning Broly, the only thing you need to worry about after you poison him is if he spams Peeler Storm or Gigantic Ki Blast. If he spams Gigantic Ki Blast, we all know how to handle that. It's pretty easy. Peeler Storm is a bit annoying, but you can counter it by using an ultimate attack, so it's not too difficult. And I would recommend poisoning these guys anyways, because Broly and Janemba both have Super Armor, and you can drain the Super Armor and actually do damage, but it's really hard to do, especially when they kill you in such few hits. And in Broly's case, Broly drains your stamina when he's hitting you, so if Broly touches you, you kind of lose instantly, because he's not going to stop comboing you, and you'll just die. And if you Limit Burst, it's not going to stop his Super Armor. But if you poison them, the poison eats away the Super Armor in about 3 seconds, and you can get straight to damaging them. And without their Super Armor, they're actually pretty soft. They don't take damage too well. One Super Kamehameha is like a health bar and a half for them, if not a bit more. So I'd recommend poisoning them, especially Broly, actually, because Janemba slows you down and it's kind of annoying, but he doesn't drain your stamina. You can still fight him off with not too much difficulty. So again, that's a really easy mission to do. These two are super easy. Janemba gives you Brainwash because he spams Brainwash. It just makes sense. Broly spammed Gigantic Ki Blast. Janemba spams Brainwash. It all comes together. This last one is very hard. I wouldn't even recommend doing this alone. I did waste my time doing this alone, mostly because the servers were down when this update first went up. So I wasted my time doing this. But Buhan is exactly like Broly, and I do mean exactly. Poison him to remove his Super Armor. His health is actually really weak, and just lay waste to him. If you don't, he'll drain your stamina over time and just beat you to death, and it's the most sad, embarrassing thing of all time. However, I do beat just Buhan and not Fuse the Master. While the game says ultimate finish, we all know that Fuse the Master actually does appear in this quest after you beat Buhan. I think it's just that my time was too low for the Fuse the Master spawn to activate, so I only get a Demon Realm Crystal. I say only, but those are actually really, really rare. And I didn't get, Peeler Storm. But this time I did it with friends. I may have got a lower score, but we did beat Fuse the Master. So again, Peeler Storm. It makes sense because Fuse the Master does spam Peeler Storm throughout the entire mission, whether you poison him or not. I would also recommend poisoning Fuse the Master. While Fuse the Master is less of a threat than Buhan, he still drains your stamina, and poisoning him is honestly for the better, because you don't want to do that long boss fight that could actually... You're more likely to lose actually running out of time, because that's how much of a tank he is. So I'd recommend poisoning him, and of course, yeah, just be really quick with the other parts, so that way you can actually get to Fuse the Master, get the ultimate finish, and, you get Peeler Storm. Now what I'll be showing is how these moves work in training. In training mode you can equip these moves on. It will turn your character into a villainous mode character, or whatever they call a raid boss energy or appearance. When you go into training mode with these moves on, it will just transform your character's base look. Now this form does disable transformations, and it does that in the raid as well, because I don't think a Super Saiyan Blue raid boss, I don't think I need to describe to you how broken that would be. If you like what you see so far, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because I genuinely can't tell if people do like what I'm putting out. My likes are usually miles below my views, so it makes me really confused on if I'm actually putting out stuff that people enjoy, or if I'm just putting this out and people stumble across it and they leave it immediately. So do that, because it does help me a lot, and it does really support the channel. The first move I'll be showing is Marbling Drop. Marbling Drop is a treat, a very annoying treat. It has two ways of firing, especially here. You can choose to rain it down and from below. It will just bounce over and over again. Because this map isn't as tall as the maps where you'd usually fight a raid boss, it will stay around and create mines. Now, I do think this is an addition for us. I don't recall Marbling Drop making mines before. You can shoot it straight forward like a projectile where it has tracking. I would say that's just the infinitely better version, because you would hit everyone at the same time and break their stamina and do a lot of damage. Now, of course, it doesn't do a lot of damage here because it's training mode. You do have nerfed stats. They don't give you raid boss stats, they just give you access to these moves in training mode. But the tracking version is way better, because not only will you deplete like a ridiculous amount of health, you'd also break your enemy's stamina, and it is a long stamina break. It's as if you broke the stamina, let's say, when they were guarding or when their stamina was low. So yeah, do that. Next one we have up is Brainwash. Now, Brainwash has been severely nerfed from the way bosses use it. I mean, for bosses it still does this, but for us, it does not control the person. It's just a restraining maneuver. I do think we're supposed to use it to hold them down while we attack their teammates. That's what I believe. Because if you hit the person, they just come out of it immediately. So, maybe if you're getting a free hit in, you could hold someone down and use an ultimate attack. That's probably the most likely option, because your attacks will still go through. The one I picked is extremely slow, so it gets, it happens right in the invincibility frames of them coming out of it. So it wasn't very useful, but the move is way better than it looks. It really is, especially actually in the field. Now, I don't know if I can actually say anything interesting about Peeler Storm. I'm sure if any of you have played this game once in your whole life, you know what Peeler Storm does. Its only unique perk here with us is that it takes 2 bars of stamina to use. And that's kind of important, because as a raid boss, you need to conserve your stamina for super armor. So if you want to use it, that's fine. I'd recommend it when you have 2 bars of stamina exactly, so you can at least do some damage before you get beaten up. Or when you have a lot of stamina, so that way you can do a lot of early damage. For example, when everyone's charging up at the start of the raid. And now we have the one I would say is easily the best, just because of the way it works here. Gigantic Ki Blast. I know it sounds like Gigantic Ki Blast would be, pretty weak. But here Gigantic Ki Blast is more than amazing, because it is an extremely fast-moving projectile. Obviously you can't block it, and there's not much way to defend from it other than get out of its explosive radius, which is reasonably sized. I think the explosive radius is reasonably... I mean, you can't see it, but it's reasonably sized. One thing I do want to add about this Gigantic Ki Blast compared to other Gigantic Ki Blast: this one does not hit the ground to cause its damage. This one will go exactly and only for who you're locking onto. So, yeah, as you can see, it's not trying to hit the ground at all. It's just flying up in the air to hit its intended target. The explosive radius is quite big. So if someone, I would say, a good advice for players against a raid boss: if you are fighting a raid boss and you see the warning symbol for his ultimate come up, or you see this come at you, please fly away from your teammates, because they will die when you get hit by this, or they will most likely die. It doesn't kill in one hit, it just does an extremely, high amount of damage. So, I would recommend you watch out for that, because it's quite lethal. Of course, you can't combo it into Brainwash, because that would be a bit ridiculous. Brainwash can't have other raid boss moves comboed into it, for example, because obviously that would just be really cheesy. So, you do have to wait for the Brainwash to actually run out before these things actually do damage to their, target. But Gigantic Ki Blast is very, very, very good. I would recommend having that on regardless of what you're doing. And the mission to get it from, as I showed you, is not actually that hard. So if you want to do the raid boss game mode, I'd recommend Gigantic Ki Blast easily. and Marbling Drop. Those are the only 2 ones you actually really need. Everything else is more of a support move. I'd recommend not even putting on Rage Saucer or Bloody Sauce. Put on your own attacks. The ones I used here are Lightning of Absolution, because I just love the way it looks. It's instantaneous. Well, not instantaneous, it's just really quick. So that way, if you're fighting someone who's across the map, they're like, oh, he's not really doing anything, and you can just get away with a cheeky lightning. And if you're fighting people that's all around you, God of Destruction's Wrath will clear them out pretty easily. So don't put on Rage Saucer or Bloody Sauce. That's just my advice. You don't have to take it, but you're better off just not having them on. That is all I have for this video. If you guys do enjoy it, please leave a like, because I think that's what I'm going to make my goal, to increase my likes. I'm kind of happy with my views and my subs, so I do want to increase my likes, because if anything, that's the only department where I'm lacking on YouTube. Because most of the time I look at my likes and I'm like, oh, did they even enjoy this video, or did I just make like an entire piece of crap? People will tell me in the comments they've enjoyed the video, so again, it's just it's a bit disheartening when you compare my views to my likes, and it's just like, it just doesn't seem like anyone really enjoys what I make anymore. So I do want to know whether you forgot to leave a like, or whether you can support by leaving a like. It would really be appreciative. Subscribe if you do like what you see as well, because again, that does help me, and hopefully it helps you too, because if you like what you see, I assume you'd subscribe to the channel. That's all I have for today. I will probably make an updated raid boss video where I show off all of their moves at full power, because there's again a lot of tinkering I still need to figure out with these things. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.